Hey, devils out there, happy Friday. Oh boy, this day kind of got away from me. It's 2 o'clock here. So much going on. Markets are on fire, as you might, well, not all the markets, but certainly the stock indexes. Traditional assets, a lot of volatility. So as we are launching off it, I think we've got all three majors at new all-time highs. And we can understand why. There's pretty good data coming in. So, well, of course, we're going to start here with Bitcoin. So what have I got here? I'm going to move pretty quickly here because some of this hasn't changed much. We'll look at Bitcoin, ETH, a couple of alts. And then we'll look at the SPX and the QQQ, right? So we can get a little variety here. So again, we're going to move pretty quickly. This is almost unchanged from a week ago. It's just as I don't like to say it that way. The implication here is that I've got a 3. I'm coming back to correct here. I've got a fair value gap, an imbalance, right? Fair value gap. And then I've got a pretty big order block here, which would tee this up just beautifully for some sort of a 3 and take a little more time to correct this, right? So the idea being, well, if that's a 1, I know, right? Human nature, like, oh God, go. I'd be more comfortable being a buyer down here. This is pretty much setting up to be a sell. Yeah. To sell at your own discretion. So what do we get? I mean, that's a daily. So we were kind of heading this direction, and all we've done is kind of creep a little bit closer. So we're, attempting to now mitigate that fair value gap. Do we keep going? Well, here's the 50, right? So we know the golden zone's not much further away. So if it rolled over here, I wouldn't be disappointed. I know you're like, I want to go up forever. This would be a sweet entry. Here you've got this consolidation. You've got a little order block here that's untapped. Oh, and there's a we can look down here. There's a big fair value gap just underneath this. I think we looked at that last week, right? So if we're going to break the golden, that might be why. Right? Remember algos either searching for liquidity or rebalancing something. Well, if it's going to come down here, well, there's liquidity. There's more liquidity here. This would be consolidation. And then we're going to come back and rebalance something, and then. I'm not saying that's what's coming. You could understand if it came down here, why it would come down here. Okay, well, that's Bitcoin. Now ETH. Oh, I got to pause this here. This is the ugliest count on the board. One of the worst I've ever seen. So pause for just a sec. Okay, this is with an assist from one of my Elliott wizards. This is master Elliottician PK, who helps me often when I've got something this absolute wacky. This is, for an Elliottician, this is about as ugly as it gets. So we got one count here that would suggest, okay, maybe when I get this, there are times where it's not going to give you the right look, but that's what you're stuck with. So the 1, 2, 3, this is clearly a 4. This massive triangle here compared to that 2, it's not ideal, but that's what's there into the 5. So we've got a candidate here for a 1 with an extension in the 5th. Now we go sideways, right, with a lot of wicking action here. So it plays as a WX, given the 3. You have to work backwards in this. So here's a 3 that ends it. So working back, there's another 3. So WXY seems to be a valid labeling here with your Elliott hat on. Pretty shallow, right, if we're correcting the whole thing. So, okay, well, no requirement that the market come down here. 1, 2. Into, boy, that's some juicy liquidity down here. So you can see that, well, all right, so all of this already been swept, right, with this. Now, if we're going to come back down, well, this is a target. This is a target. But if this, as I've noted here, this would be invalidation on the idea that this is well, let's use this here so you guys don't miss it here. 1, right, can we come down here and hold as a 2? Well, we better get legs. So you think, well, if Bitcoin's going to roll over, perhaps Ethereum would go, and so it would be surprising if it wouldn't go with it in sympathy, right? So then you'd be looking down here for a deeper 2. Oh shit, I've got these somewhere here. Oh, I've got group. That would be, let's get rid of this group here. So this would be, we'd have to do a WXY and do an A, and then this would be a B, and then we'd be coming down. It looks like I got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll see, right? The 2 to the 4, not the balance you'd hope for. It looks like I've got a 3, 4. If that's coming down for a 5, right, that would be the 5 of the 3. Well, let's put it up here. that would be the 5 of the 3 at this degree, right? So then we'd anticipate the 4 down into a 5, and now we've got the 2 at a range that would make more sense with regards to what you'd anticipate as an Elliottician, where we might find that. Right, so now we'd be down here at the 5th. We got a little untapped order block right here. Now that's pulling from the proposed 1, assuming, right, we've got this as the B. Now remember, algo doesn't care about your Elliott count. Where does that put us? And note here, I'm just highlighting. There's I could call the whole thing just a downswing here. So we've got potentially demand here, right at the golden zone. Now that's swing low, swing high, right? So all the algo is going to do, right? Now we can kind of refine that, put our Elliott hat back on. Oh, if that's a B, well, here's my 1. So maybe the 50. So either way, right? All of this becomes a target, right? You can see. So if Bitcoin does what it's going to do and it follows up a 3 and we get a new swing low, as I just showed it, then this would start to make a little more sense. This would be just, oh my God, back the truck up on that one. Should we get an opportunity to buy it down here under 2,000, that would be buy what you can afford. In spot, not saying leverage. Okay, let me, let's stick with crypto here again. I know I'm moving fast here. Let me pause for just a sec. VeChain, we've been tracking this last couple of weeks here. I've featured this a couple of times. How do you not like that? Perfect 5, pretty good 3, golden zone. Why would you not take that? Well, you might say, oh, sure, I'm a little bit late. Well, I can't trade them for you. But this is one we've I think over the last 3 weeks I've featured this 2 weeks, 2 out of the 3 weeks. Okay, right to a 50. Again, things that don't happen randomly, right? We got this unmitigated block right here. So, call it a mitigation block, right? It's just untapped, right? So we come right to the edge of it. Reaction. I promise you that's not random. So I've got a clean 5 here. So it looks like a 3. Okay. Well, if I'm going to go up here, if indeed this, well, let's get it fully labeled. If that's a 1 and I'm gone 2 and I'm going to go 3, 4, 5, let's get that up a degree here. This is one I'd keep your eyes on if you're not already in it, right? They don't set up any better than that. Period. That's why whether it's a live stream of these Friday videos, I say, hey, someone, keep an eye on this one. Maybe set an alert, right? If we come back down here, make heads up. All right. Well, it hasn't. It's not tearing away. Of course, always a possibility there's a deeper correction, right? We'd go 3, something here. We might come lower, right? So, I'm not saying the low is in, but I'd be mindful that if this is going to go, and that's still a long way to go. So, just wanted to keep an eye on it. It does have this very unusual wick here. That this was what I don't know what that was, but it was something gnarly. Here, let me reset that. Well, we'd have a corner pocket here. Right, so boom, boom, not a golden, but a corner. So getting there, right, I'd be in the anticipation here. If we're going to go into a 3, we're going to blow right through that, right? So we'd be looking for, yeah, sure, we might tap there one. That could be the, if we're going to get a 3 here, we got to get an impulse. That could be the 1, 2. So if you were, if you're on the more conservative side, you might wait, because note here, we'd be tapping the median line, realizing our 80% odds there as we hit the wave 1 high, which is certainly ripe for a potential. Oh, right. You get, right. This is why we don't buy breakouts. You might get a little wick here and then, right, little rug pull, and then we go, right? Because who's going to buy here, right? The naive. Okay. All right. So that's, VeChain here. Let me pause for a sec. Another one we've been kind of trying to draw your attention to over the last couple of weeks. Again, much like VeChain, I think at least twice over the last month here, this is one we've been featured. And the idea being, hey, oh God, my God, I've got a 1, 2, 3. How do we identify a 4? Right? We go sideways. We don't progress the trend. And well, now we're progressing the trend. A nice example here of a breaker block. So this was, the intention was that this was potentially this would have been resistance or supply. Think of it that way. Now, as we break through and we're coming back, we've got a breaker block here. So just something to be mindful of for those of you that have some SMC knowledge here is, if you don't, and you're one of our subs or members here, that course is taking a long time, but it's almost done. So that we'll go over all of that stuff in that course. But indeed, I mean, you could probably pull this whole area, right? Depends how. Oh, you could use all that. Okay, so we're going up, right? So potentially the 4 could come that low. Well, here we go, right? So here again, a perfect example, right? So as we teach and preach and live, right? We do not buy this ever. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't buy that ever, right? Now I know it's going, right? It's going. Where was the buy, right? I know it's easy in hindsight. Okay, well, what are we doing here? If this is 1, 2, and we're going to get an impulse here, certainly looks impulsive. So what are we doing now? We're waiting, right? So much of trading is waiting and expressing the discipline that comes with being a successful trader, right? What's retail doing? They're already long. Oh shit, what am I on, an 8-hour there? They're already long. Already little clench. Little sphincter clench. What do we got here? 1, maybe 2. It's pretty ripping. Oh, God damn it. Come here. Pretty ripping move coming out of there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still yet to come. Now let me pull back here. Looks like that could go. 1, 2. Well, let's measure it. 1. Oh, let's see here. We'll have to do the 1 here. All right, good target here for it. Let's see, I've got these backwards. Let's take this up a degree to micro and this down a degree. Sub-micro. All right, so we're going to go here for the 3. Maybe not, right? We might have more legs on that if that's going to be, if we're going to go 1, 2, 3 here. That might be where we're headed. All right, now nobody knows, we don't know. But note here now, we've got good indication that we've got a 3 here. If that's going out of here. Now, I don't have a pivot here, and I'll wait till I get that pivot before I adjust this, to accommodate whatever comes here and bring this back here. Oh, good, like that, right? So again, you don't really draw it until you have the pivot, right? We start on the 4 because for all we know, this is, go up here. No, nobody knows, right? It just seems less probable. It's not what it usually does. Not that there's any obligation for the market to do what it usually does, but you can see how, in terms of taking advantage of this breaker block, we actually be ideal. We don't want the 4 to come back here. Right? So it'd be interesting if this gets tagged, if we go up and come back and test it. Now we could do it here we could have a shallow 3 here. It's already over 100%. We could do it this way. Right now we're more in line with that 3, 4. Oh, come here, 4, 5, something like that. You definitely would want some geometry on here to guide that. Already hit your 80. Upper parallel. All right, let's see. All right, let's see. We're at the center line here of the larger channel. See how how far that go, what kind of legs it's got. I hope you got this. But see, this, if you're not in it, don't buy it now. Well, I got to catch myself. I would encourage you to think long and hard about buying the breakout ever, right? It's pretty well established that I'm opposed to that. But there you go, right? So there it is, right? So now, see, here's what retail, they look at that and they go, oh my God, I better get it. Well, it's the more disciplined trader will look at that and say, oh, there's a breakout, right? So potentially, let's see how the market responds to that. And again, this could just keep going, right? So you have to let that go because a retrace will come. It always does. I know someone's going to post a chart that never retraced. There will be a retrace because it's human nature, right? That's the greed will take over, a little retrace, and then the fear will kick in. That's what always creates the 4, or we stall 3, 4, 5 with the 5, right? So this is right on track. Okay, let me keep moving here. I got to go fast today. This is when I'm trading, and I'm about to add here. Now this is, here. Oh, I got some other things on here. I don't want to confuse you. So breaker block right here. Right here's all I've done is just draw the volume profile here. I'm using the anchored volume profile. It's a great feature. And just highlights what we've drawn here. And it puts it on the right. It's nice addition. Now here's the golden zone, and here's a breaker block. Right. So this was potentially the supply. It fails. Here's the the failure swing doesn't get there. So as we go up now, it's all a breaker black is, right? Prior resistance becomes support. I think that's tradable. Now, this is some butt ugly, Elliott. It's awful, right? So, so this looks like a leading diag. This is, well, of course, we've overlapped the one, so it would have to play as a diag. You know, there are times when you just have to go with the implied swing structure. Is this a perfect, you know, series of threes? No. It's not, but I still think it's tradable, right? So, you know, I'm not such a purist to where I would avoid that trade. Now, I'm not going to give that a ton of room. Well, let's put 707 on that. Oh, we go platinum here. It's about as much as I'd give it. 707 here. If we're going to come down that deep, right, all of a sudden I'm lose a little confidence in that. But I think that's one to have your eyeballs on so that, you know, 2 weeks from now, we aren't here going, well, okay, we teed that one up for you. No, I'm not saying right, trade it. I'm not saying, you know, it's the right fit for you. I'm saying there's potential scenario here that would be friendly, would be a low risk, high reward long, right? If you're comfortable trading that. I don't think you need to trade that with leverage. I rarely do. And again, that's a function of my circumstance. I just don't have the time to manage it. So why, right? If spot here, you'd be just fine, right? And because it's an unconventional count, or it's really not even a count. But what do I got? I got a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? So I've got a swing structure here that's bullish, and I've got some confluence of technical events here that might support that. We shall see. Now, if you wanted to be more conservative, right, just maybe obviously there'll be, there's a lot of trading volume there, so you might look at that and say, okay, I'm going to wait for the 2 and then go, right? Take that one. What's the difference, right? Not modest, right? And then you very clearly know where your stop is. Something to think about. Okay, let me pause there. That's all the crypto I've got. Let's go to the indexes. Okay, SPX, we've looked at this many times. We got some breaker blocks here as well. So here's your perfect golden corner. Can't make this shit up. Swing, golden zone, golden corner. Here's your 80% realized, right? When we came here, there's your algo target. Now, where are we going? I mean, we're on the high. So there's nothing to see. What have I got below? There's nothing to suggest. Oh, I got nothing below. There's nothing to suggest we're tapped out here. Let me get the EW on there. Oh, this is the one with the squeeze that I like. Okay, well, I got some divergence here, so potentially, yeah, we'll see. One thing I wouldn't do is be shorting that. Why? That's a suicide mission. Why would you short that? There's nothing here to suggest time to short it. Nothing. Now, you know, for the very aggressive trader, okay, well, let me get a pullback here. Maybe you come back, you know, get something like that. But as it is right now, that, you know, unless you just like donating money to market makers so they can make their Mercedes payments, that's not, I would be reluctant to take that. I mean, again, why would you short that? There's absolutely no technical event there, nothing. But you can out the potential divergence. Well, that divergence can change quickly, right? If we keep going, that'll rally up here. No reason to sell that. You got to wait. All right. So, what else do I have? That's the SPX. I got the QQQ. Hang on a second. Pretty much the same thing over here. You want to sell that? Well, certainly it looks like we're in the third, right? That's the key piece. So same idea here. Oh, we can't get that low, right? So so every time you break one of these pivots, right? So this becomes a breaker. Right, that was a breaker right there. Again, it's a fancy word. It's just marketing. It's just relabeling. That's all it ever was. That's much of SMC is, right? Not to make light of it, right? It's very effective, but it's not exactly new. Okay, so think of this: previous supply or resistance becomes the demand, right? And you can understand why, right? I'm assuming everybody understands what happens there, but let's not make that assumption. Okay, if you were shorting here, you market makers, it doesn't matter, right? So if you're shorting here, once we come back here, so what is the opportunity here, right, to mitigate those losses, right? Clear out, break even, close to break even, maybe even well, it depends where you're short from. If you went short down here thinking they're going to sweep the lows, oh, of course they're going to sweep the lows, right? Assumptions, guaranteed way to lose money. Okay, well, now what do you got here? You got a chance to mitigate those losses, right? And that's why previous resistance becomes support, or previous supply becomes the demand, right? Now, oh, I'm cleared. Well, now we can go. From that, oh, well, let's see, there's a fair value gap right in here, imbalance sitting right there, right? So we can see, oh, why does it stop there? Why does it stop there? Fair value gap. Just rip right. Now we'd have it again here, breaker block up here as well. Oh, you could refine it, right? When it almost doesn't matter, right? So there, let's call it a breaker. Oh, where are you? Okay, all right, so we got a breaker right here. Oh, got a little squirrely on that. Same idea. Shorts, rebalance. Okay, off we go. Oh God, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boy, that's got legs. Right now, what are we trying to get here? The third. Right, we're trying to get the fifth of the third. Right, there's nothing to suggest we're top heavy here. Well, I shouldn't say it that way. So if what have I got in here? Oh, nothing here. So if I put an RSI on that, right, it's going to look like, oh my God. Oh, we got a little pullback here. A little divergence, right? Which gives us this, right? Is that enough for you? Now, as is always the case, right? This is dangerous way to interpret, right? And this is how most people are taught RSI, right? Is Andrew Caldwell, who's pretty much the master teacher, trainer, trader of RSI, will tell you the 50 is much more important than the 70 or the 30, right? What happens at the 50? Do we loop or do we hold? Looks like we're headed back up. So just I don't know who's shorting that, but if you are, you don't like money. Okay, so oh, what have I got? I got everything. Okay, so I did the SPX SPY. Oh, well, yeah, that'll probably cover it. 22. I'm gonna be short and sweet today. Okay, that's all I got, right? So it's gonna be interesting to see. Now we've had, there's a lot of data this week with the Fed. We had a lot of fundamental data that weren't specific to crypto, but of course crypto will respond to it. So the fact that crypto is not exploding here with tech, we have broken that correlation, good for better for worse, but we don't have that same correlation that we did for so long. So things are moving more independently now. Maybe that's a function of the ETFs. I read this morning that BlackRock now they've surpassed Grayscale in terms of the volume of Bitcoin, amount of trading they're doing. So the money is flowing into the ETFs, but you're not seeing that reflected in the price yet. But my assumption is that you will. So I'm long and strong and have no intentions of selling. This is going to be very interesting. So this breaker might serve here if we're going to go 3. Well, let's look at that before we sign off here. All right, now I don't have a pivot up here. Let's go to the wave 4. All right, so depending on 23, 38, right? That's where we are right now. If we're going to keep going next week, then I'd start to look like this. Right, we're going to come down here for the 4 at the 38, right? This is the highest probability location for wave 4. Come back down here into this pocket again. I don't have this. I don't have it. I don't know where that's going, but if we're going to go that high, I mean, that's getting up there. Oh, just for fun, let's see what we'd look like here. This is, we're at 2618 of this 1-2, right? Which I'm not calling a high, but that would not be surprising if we ran out of steam there. But for this one, oh my God, it's I don't even think we'll be. Yeah, we'd have to go 3618, 4618, perhaps even higher. Yeah, there's nothing else really to measure until we get a pivot here. Until we get the 3, then we could do 1 through 3. But as it sits right now, same thing, right? Why would you, as a disciplined trader, why would you be looking to short that? Oh, because it's gone so high. That's never a reason to short in the indexes or in equities. Oh, it's so high, I got to sell it. That's the equivalent of retail buying a breakout. Why would you do that? Just no reason to do it. So let's not. Okay, guys, that's all I got. I'm going to keep it short and sweet today. Back on Wednesday. Live streams have been going well, right? Which I kind of gauge based on level of participation, number of views that we get. So vast majority are watching after the fact, as I understand. We do it in the middle of the day. Not everybody has all day to sit and watch a live stream. But they seem to be popular. And, of course, just as a reminder here, you can always join us in the Discord for free. Come in, have a spin, see if it's the kind of place that would be the kind of community you'd like to be in. So I encourage you to try that. Brown belt is close. We're probably 90% done. So it's on the way. Okay, guys, have a good weekend. I'll be back to you guys on Wednesday.